Hi everyone, my name is Tami. I wanted to make a video and share my Accutane journey, or at least my Accutane experience. Unfortunately, I did not document my experience. I didn't think I would want to share it. After being on the program, I feel like it is extremely life-changing. It's definitely something that changes your lifestyle while you're on it, and then after you're on it, or after you finish your program, it literally changes your life. So I wanted to share my experience. I'm going to divide the video into three parts. Number one, how my skin was before and what led me to make the decision on wanting Accutane or wanting to be prescribed Accutane. Basically, the steps I had to take to be prescribed, as well as the lifestyle changes I had to make while I was on Accutane. And then finally, we're gonna cover what my skin looks like now and what my plans are, I guess, next steps after Accutane. Spoiler alert, I'm actually not done with my program, which I'm gonna get to in a second. So if you hear the creaking, it's my chair, it's not fart. My skin when in high school, I'm in my 30s now, my skin during high school was very, very clear. It was very low maintenance. I really didn't have to do anything. I would just wash my face with water. I wouldn't even use sunscreen or moisturizer, which is terrible, but that's basically how my skin was. And maybe once every few months I would get one of those really crazy hormonal breakouts, like either on my forehead or like somewhere on my nose or like right on the tip of my nose, like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. But it was bearable because I didn't really have to deal with that often. It would just be, during the time of the month when my hormones are out of whack, then I would get it, and I would basically put a little pimple cream on it, and that's it. It was just very, very low maintenance, and then it would go away. So that's what my skin was like. And flash forward to maybe I guess the second quarter of college, I basically was eating really badly. My sleeping schedule was basically topsy-turvy. I would sleep at 4 a.m. and wake up the next day at 3 p.m. because I was partying, and then of course late night partying, you get junchies, and then you're eating all that fast food. So it was just really not good, not a good lifestyle. And then on top of that, which was probably a huge reason why I had an acne issue, was I would sleep with my makeup on. So all those things just put together, my skin literally just like freaked out, and it basically snowballed even before I knew it, because like I mentioned, in high school I didn't have like a high maintenance skincare routine, so I was very used to just put pimple cream and like that's it. So when I started breaking out in college, I would just put pimple cream and that's it. I didn't really think about, what kind of food are you intaking, like how's your lifestyle, are you washing your face? So all those things put together, my skin basically, before I even knew it, it was just so like stressed out, and there was like cyst on top of a cyst on top of a cyst, and it was just like really, really bad. I wish I had photos to share with you guys, but it was a time where I was very, very very, very insecure and self-conscious, and I basically photoshopped all of my pictures to make it look like I had flawless skin, and deleted the original, so I don't really have any photos to show. But I do have one photo which I'm going to show later, and it was maybe 2 weeks into Accutane, so I'll show you that. But that's what my skin was like before, and after I graduated and I started my career, that's when I started to get really serious about it. I started working out. I started working 9 to 5, so I had a regular schedule, but the acne was still there. I started eating better and exercising. It was still there, so that's when I started to see a dermatologist, and they would prescribe things here and there, but obviously they would wait maybe like 3 months before actually evaluating it. So every time I tried something new, the first month I would see progress in my skin, and it would make me really, really happy, and I would keep using it, and like the third month in, my acne would come back. So it seemed like my skin would react well to whatever I was taking or doing at the time, but it would just regress back to how it was. Maybe it just got used to it, or built immunity to whatever I was taking. So I basically went through a vicious cycle of that, and I would try all those expensive skincare products at Sephora. I was doing facials. basically doing everything that I could, and it just wasn't working. And this was like throughout a course of like 6 years, where something would work and then it wouldn't work, and then I would try something else and it would work. So all this takes time. It was just a vicious cycle. Finally last year, I was like, that is it. I'm done trying all these things. And I heard of Accutane, and there's so many, I guess, like side effects about Accutane and like dangers about Accutane and risks. But I was like, doctor, just give it to me. I'm so over this like vicious cycle. I refuse to live with the fact that I will have acne for the rest of my life, right? So that's when I decided I wanted to take Accutane. And believe it or not, it is not as easy as you think it will be, or it's not as easy to be prescribed Accutane as you think. So number one, the doctor has to first give you the okay, meaning you're, generally healthy. Secondly, your dermatologist, they will ask you to take a pregnancy test for 2 consecutive months where you have to be negative. So basically that's a 2-month period where you have to wait after you're prescribed, after your general doctor says you're healthy enough for Accutane. Once your tests come out negative, then you take your labs. So labs is just like a little more detail into how your body is doing, not just from your general doctor, but they check for specific things. And I don't remember exactly what they are because they're just in like doctor gibberish. But one of the things is like your livers and your kidney and your cholesterol. So basically I was prescribed because I came out healthy, right? So I was like, yes, like I could finally get Accutane. I'm gonna, get through this. And then the doctor starts explaining to you, what the side effects are. So side effects are that you get really moody, you're more prone to depression, things that you have to restrict yourself from doing hardcore exercise. So I did HIIT classes 3 to 4 times a week. I would go after work and it would just be kind of like a stress reliever for me. I had to stop all that, stop drinking. Obviously you can't do drugs. So the drinking part it wasn't hard, but it was definitely a lifestyle change because I'm the type of girl that likes to go to like happy hour, or like, when we're at our friend's house, I like to have a few drinks. Like it's just part of the social life that I live is always contains drinks. So I had to stop drinking, and the working out was just that. I had to stop that too. So it was basically like he was telling you like, okay, you might be prone to depression. You can't do this, you can't do that. I'm like, okay, fine. In addition to that, so basically you're prescribed based on a proportion of your weight. So let's say you weigh like 100 pounds, the proportion of Accutane milligrams to take to that, I'm just making these numbers up, I don't really remember what the proportion was, but let's say you weigh 100 pounds, your Accutane program would be 2,000 milligrams. So no matter how long it takes for you to finish the program, you could finish it in 6 months if you take high doses every day, or if you take small doses every day, it could take up to a year. But basically to be considered done with your program, to be prescribed to you, is the amount that's proportion to your weight. So for me in the beginning, the doctor said, it's going to take to 9 months. And I was fine with that. The thing with Accutane is like the pill is meant to be taken with fatty foods. So in the beginning, I would take it every morning after breakfast. And the doctor said, take it with fatty foods. So I was eating like, Starbucks sausage egg McMuffin sandwiches, like even the ones from McDonald's, or having avocado toast. I was just having like really, really fatty breakfasts. And when I was okay with that small dose, because every month you go see the doctor, he was like, okay, let's up it to like double that. So I was taking that pill in the morning, having a fatty breakfast, and then I was taking the same pill at dinner time, having like pasta for dinner, like cheese pasta or something like that. And in the beginning you feel like, oh, this is pretty cool, like I'm eating all these fatty foods because it's part of my, medication or whatever. But once you start to see it in your gut, it is not fun and games, right? And I couldn't work out. So the thing with working out, I stopped working out for 3 months, but after 3 months, when my gut was just getting out of control, I was like, I can't do this anymore. So I started like sneaking workouts. So what I would do, so basically every month you would be scheduled every month to go see the dermatologist. That's seeing the dermatologist probably maybe like 3 to 5 days before you would need to go to get your labs done. So basically, let's say if I would get my labs done on Monday, I would work out regularly for the entire month until the Wednesday before my labs, to give my body a little rest, because you know when you like do workouts, you're basically ripping your muscle and then they're repairing. So I wanted to give it like 5 days to repair, and that worked most of the time. But there are a lot of times, or I would say probably 4 times 4 times out of the 7 or 8 months that I was on it, I failed my lab test and I couldn't get prescribed right away. So it was definitely a lifestyle change. And not only is it a lifestyle change because you have to take the pill, it's a lifestyle change to actually like do all these things. So the lab tests, like those have to be taken, or you have to get your labs done 3 to 5 days before your dermatologist appointment. Every month I had a dermatologist appointment, and they were only open on Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, which is exactly my work schedule. So good thing I had a really cool boss, because I had to tell her like, hey, you know, I'm gonna either be late to work once a month or have to leave early to go to my doctor's appointment. And thank goodness my boss was super cool. She knew about my skin. I mean, yeah, I mean, who didn't know about my skin, honestly? Like, if you talk to anybody that knew me before, like, they would tell you my skin now is like total 180 than what it was before. So anyway, so I would tell my boss that I would be late to work because of my dermatologist appointments, right? But that doesn't include your lab tests. So good thing the lab, I went to LabCorp. There was one really close to my work. So they would open at 7 a.m. And if you wanted to get there at 7 a.m., it would be a walk-in. So you could schedule appointments, but schedule appointments were only available for like 9 to 3 or something like that. And I didn't want to miss work, so I would book it there at 7 when they would open, wait in line and get my labs done, and then book it to work. So getting my labs done, I never had to take time off of work. But that was one stressful thing. Another stressful thing is wondering if your labs are gonna pass, because if you're like me and you were working out, your levels are a little higher than normal because of the workout. And I also think that the 4 times that they failed, it was because I took pre-workout, which pre-workout basically makes your liver levels like super high. So don't take pre-workout if you're on Accutane. So yeah, so basically I would take my labs, be worried that they wouldn't pass, and then finally go to the doctor, the derm. He would evaluate, and that's not the end of it. So every month when you go to the derm, after your labs, you take 2 quizzes. So the first quiz is a government portal quiz where you sign into this portal. It's like a government regulated drug. So there's this portal where you have to sign in and you have to take a quiz every single month, and you have to score at least 90%. And the questions are basically like, what happens if you don't take your birth control, or like what happens if you become pregnant. And the reason why they're very strict on birth control, you have to take 2 types of birth control, is because if you're on birth, or if you get pregnant while you're on Accutane, pretty much your child's going to come out with defects. So they really want to control that. So you have to take that quiz. Not done with the quizzes, and you also have to take a verbal quiz with your nurse. She'll ask you questions like, oh no, this is the only question she asked. She always asked, you know, what were your 2 forms of birth control that you took this month? I always did the pill, and then I said condoms. So after you pass that, then the doctor reviews everything. He's like, okay, I'll prescribe you your next month's prescription. It's only 1 month's worth. But the thing is, every time you're about to hit your month, so like, let's say my doctor's appointment was this month, September 3rd. So let's say the doctor prescribed me my Accutane for next month on September 3rd. On October 3rd, I only have a 7-day window to get my labs done, to take all my quizzes, to get it signed off by the doctor in order to be prescribed the next one. The reason why they do that is because they're trying to really limit the window in which you have chances to, I guess, step outside of the rules. So step outside of the rules meaning like you didn't take your birth control or whatever. They basically are trying to keep tabs on you and make sure that there isn't too much of a time that went by before your labs were done and all that. So you only have a 7-day window. So that was pretty stressful because, like I said, there were like 4 times where my labs didn't pass and I had to redo them within a 7-day window. And that's basically being late 2 times to work within a 7-day window, having to wake up, crack of dawn, and booking it to the lab at 7, 2 times within 7 days. So basically, if you fail at that one time, you have to do everything again within 7 days. So that was really stressful, and I think like literally I got gray hairs every month because I was secretly working out. But I just couldn't take it anymore. So that's kind of like what the lifestyle change was. But let's talk about side effects. So on the actual prescription, on the pill, it's like a freaking book. It's not even like a pill box, it's like a book. It tells you like, you know, what your side effects may be, and there's a whole list, but I'll share with you the ones that I experienced. So number 1, I had like crying spells, just really emotional, like out of nowhere. Like you're talking about mood swings, like these were like huge mood swings, right? And I would cry. Like not mood swings where I'd be angry, but mood swings where I would be sad. That's number 1. And the doctor explains it like it's actually not the pill that makes you sad and depressed. It's your lifestyle change and how you feel about yourself while you're going through this program. So your lifestyle is changing, you know, you have a face that's, you know, flaky and all that, which I'm going to talk about in a second. But you're basically not working out, you're changing your whole life just to take this one pill. And I think people can fall into a really dark place. So it's really important for people to have, you know, a really strong support system. Good thing I had family and friends that really supported me. I'm really thankful for them. But yeah, I had crying spell. I don't think I was like depressed or anything. I was fine. Oh my gosh, another side effect was, so basically that pill is like a steroid for your skin. So basically my skin would be freaking scaly and peely, like on my arms, my legs, like my face, and especially like right here on the corners of my eyes, and like right here, like where these little crevices are, is where it would be really, really gross and dry. Like by lunchtime, I would like be able to peel off a piece literally that big. Peel it off and it was just skin. Or like I'd be talking to someone, I'd like sit back down, look at my mirror, and have like a skin hanging off my mustache. Like it was just really embarrassing. But it was pretty cool though, because like your skin exfoliates super fast, so you're literally like Wolverine. Like I'm really clumsy and I'll like get cut somewhere, I'll like get a cut and like the next day be healed. I'm just like, whoa. Yeah, and they just like tell you to drink like lots of water, stay hydrated. Your face is freaking dry all the time, so they ask you to like moisturize it. Your lips are like freaking the desert. Like it's so cracked. Like I even had like slits on the side of my mouth because it was just so dry. Like if I'd like wake up in the morning and like open my mouth really quick, it would just rip. So gross. A good thing about it is that literally like 1 month after, well, let me show you guys a picture of what I looked like maybe like 2 weeks in while taking it. So that's 2 weeks in, and that was already a big improvement. So like 1 month in, I was totally feeling myself, even though I still had acne, because 1 month in, it was the clearest that it has ever been since like first quarter of college. No joke. Like it was still, I still had some like blemishes or whatever, but it was just so freaking clear and I was so happy. It was literally awesome. I think if I didn't see that improvement within 1 month, I think I would have fell into depression or been way sadder than I was with the crying spells, because it's just a lifestyle change and it's just a lot to go through. But yeah, it was pretty awesome. All right, so next I kind of want to talk about what it felt like. Maybe I did it backwards, so all over the place. But so for those of you who are watching this video because maybe you could relate, or you're wondering, you know, if you should go on Accutane, like, I feel like it's definitely worth it. I tried every single thing before I went on Accutane and it just didn't work for me. And trust me, I feel you. Like, my skin was a topic of conversation with my friends, with my family. Like, it was embarrassing. I would wake up in the morning and even if I had like I needed to go run errands or something, it was always this thing where I had to think about like, okay, well, do I want to put foundation on because I don't want to be, you know, I don't want to feel insecure, uncomfortable. But then the other side of me, like, well, you're only going to the gas station or you're only going to this. Like, why do you need like a full face of makeup? And when I don't wear the makeup, it's like you're talking to someone and then like, even if they're not looking at your skin, they probably are, but they don't even freaking care. Like, inside you just feel like, oh my gosh, like this person thinks I'm like dirty, or I don't know how to clean myself, or like I just don't care about my face. Like, that is clearly not the case. And if you can relate, like, I totally feel you on that. Not only that, like, let's talk about sleepovers or like, you know, all that stuff. Like, going to people's houses and like having to like wash my face and have everybody see what was really going on in there was so freaking hard for me. And like, I will freaking tell you that I would have rathered, I plenty of times slept with my makeup on because I didn't want people to see what's going on under there. Now, it's different from what I was saying that I would sleep with my makeup on when I first went into college. But what I'm saying is that after the fact, when my skin was already really bad, I would rather sleep in it than have anybody see what was really going on in there. And that was just obviously the worst. I know a lot of you girls, you know, or guys feel me on that. Like, I totally feel you on that. It's so tough to face. And on top of that, like all your friends or family members are like, did you try this? Or like, you need to try this. And like, I know it comes from a good place, but it's just, it angered me because I didn't want people to think, number one, that I didn't care about my face and that I wasn't doing anything about it. That's why they were giving me suggestions. Or number two, it's like, don't you think I know that? Like, or don't you think I tried that before? Like, obviously, you know, like, this is my skin. Like, you're not the one who has to live with it. I am. So obviously, like, I'm the one who's more concerned than you are. It's on my face. But it's just, I mean, I know my friends and family just really cared for me and they probably care for you too, and that's why they're saying that. But I totally feel you when it's just like really upsetting. Even like family members too, you know, like family members that you don't see in a long time, like maybe for like holidays and stuff. It's like I'm supposed to be happy to like want to see my family, which I am, but like I dread the pimple conversation or like the acne conversation. Like, that was always something that I was just like, you know, I don't want to talk about. So for all you people out there, like, I totally feel you. And plus, like I love my girlfriends and, you know, we talk about like beauty things and stuff now, and I feel more comfortable now because my skin's decent. But like before, in our group chats when we talk about like skincare and all that stuff, it's like I don't even know what they're talking about because my main concern right now is acne. Like, none of my girlfriends ever had an acne problem, not that I know of. So they would talk about like things like skin tightening, you know, pore tightening, or like other stuff I can't think of right now. And I'm like, girl, the size of my pores is like the least of my worries right now. Like, I'm worried about my acne. And another thing that I discovered with my dermatologist during this whole acne program is that I have rosacea. So who would have known, right? So which also caused my skin to look super red, like after I wash it. So like the red like combined with the pimples is just like, girl, can you get any worse? So yeah, now I want to talk about like where my skin is now. I'm going to be looking over here because I want to just point out some things. So believe it or not, I'm actually not done with my program. I had 20 days left on my little proportion amount, but my labs came out bad, or they came out in the red. So my dermatologist asked my general doctor, you know, are you okay with letting her finish? She only has 20 days left. Obviously my general doctor said no. So she reviewed everything and she's like, I want her to go see a liver specialist. And this was during a whole COVID thing happened. So I was like, okay, I'll go see a liver specialist, but I don't really want to go in person. So we had like a virtual consult, or a virtual, you know, but you can't really see virtually. And then he wanted me to take more labs, and I'm like, okay, I am not about to go to the lab or the clinic during COVID. But that was like in March or April. It was like during the lockdown or something. Labs are still open, but I just didn't want to go. So I haven't, but I feel like my skin is pretty good right now. So I have a pimple there from eating chips. That one usually isn't there. But if you guys can kind of see like this right here, and then these right here. So these two sides, I've always had these zits. And I feel like they're really bumpy too, like big bumps. And I feel like they were like cysts that never like rose up to the surface. So they're just like stuck there. But the dermatologist said that he'll like, you know, he can put like hydrocortisone in there or whatever. But I tried that and it didn't work. But he said he was going to help me take care of these, which I'm still waiting for him to do that. But he said after I finish my Accutane program. But I have 20 days left and I feel like my skin is pretty good right now. Like you guys can see like my acne scars. I feel like it's pretty good right now and I feel pretty confident. I don't wear makeup really I mean, we're working from home, so I don't really wear makeup as often as before, and I feel pretty comfortable like going out like this. So I've kind of been on the fence like whether I should just finish the program just to say I finished it so I can get the doctor to kind of look at these things, or should I just leave it the way it is and, you know, go see a specialist to maybe get those out. But I have insurance and the dermatologist said he was going to help me get rid of these, so I'd rather just have my insurance pay for it than to go to another specialist. But I don't know. But like I mentioned, guys, if you guys are listening, to get back on it, because I haven't been on it since like January, I'm gonna need to do the whole 2 months pregnancy testing and go through all the things, and I'm just like, I don't know what it is. If you have any idea, let me know. So anyways, that is my Accutane story. But I wanted to leave for all of you people out there who's either had Accutane or is thinking about getting Accutane, like, I do not regret my decision whatsoever. I'm actually so happy. It literally changed my life. Like, I don't really wear foundation anymore. I can just do sunscreen. About foundation, before I would try like every single one, you know, and have like more foundation options than eyeshadow options. Or lipstick options. But now that my skin's a little bit clearer, I can kind of worry about, you know, things that like normal girls with clear skin can worry about, like the size of my pores and all that. And I wanted to come on camera to tell this story without any makeup, because I wanted you guys to see kind of like the little indents or like the huge pores. You can't see because I'm filming with my phone, but there's a lot of like texture to my skin. So I kind of wanted to dedicate my channel to beauty, food, because I love to eat, and lifestyle. And one of the, I guess, manifestos, or like one of the goals I want to do and share with you guys my journey, is really getting rid of these huge craters that I have on my cheeks. If you're interested in coming along with my journey, please subscribe. I think there's one thing I want to try with this, and it's called PDO threads. I'm gonna leave that for another video. So yeah, this is my skin. Thank you, Accutane. Thank you, Dr. Talui. That's it, guys. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. It was my first video ever, first time filming. I hope it was okay. Like I mentioned, I am starting this channel to share my journey on my skin now that it's better from Accutane. Also share some food recipes, because your girl loves food, and even alcoholic drinks. Some alcoholic recipes, as well as lifestyle vlogs. So if you feel like we can be friends and you feel like we can kick it, you know, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and just come hang out.